What's up, everybody? Today I'm joined with the most honest bodybuilder in the industry. Honest bodybuilder in the industry, Rich Piana, here in Venice Beach, California. And I'm gonna ask, we're gonna talk about something that I don't think we've ever really talked about on this channel. We've talked about I remember there was one story that I talked about, this guy named, I think they called him the Egyptian Popeye.
Right, I know who he is.
Yeah, and he always just said that all that stuff was natural. He got these biceps all naturally. And right away, everyone commenting in the video were just like, Synthol, Synthol, Synthol. And there's been a lot of stories lately that popped up about Synthol, and there's been, I guess, a ton of people, like there's one guy in, like, I think it was Brazil, or somewhere like that, somewhere in Southern America.
It's all over in Brazil.
Yeah, and he just,
so popular.
He looked, I don't know how people ever want to look that way, and I don't even know how it all works. What I want to know is a couple of just basics. What is Synthol? What is Synthol?
Well, Synthol is probably the worst thing that ever happened to bodybuilding.
Okay.
And, you know, getting out in the general public is just, it's been awful because everyone now is accused of Synthol. Anyone with big arms, big shoulders, Synthol, Synthol, Synthol. That's the reasoning people have now for someone to have big arms.
Right.
So it's kind of affecting all of us now, you know, because I get it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, they see someone with these huge arms and it's automatically Synthol. There's no way he worked that hard for that, you know.
So before we continue,
it's not even steroids anymore. It's not. Steroids are okay now.
Yeah. Before we continue, have you ever used it?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it a long time ago, or?
Yes, it was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right when it first hit the scene.
Okay.
And
it's been around that long?
It has. It's actually been around longer, but it was more of a. It was called a cyclin.
Okay.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Because I remember Greg Valentino. He used it. That was when?
That's probably when it first started. You know, right after it first hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it first hit, there was a big strongman called Manfred Hoboro.
Okay.
And he was the first guy that this guy actually tested it on to see how it worked.
Okay.
And his arms were 28.5 inches.
Wow.
I believe 20, maybe 26.5, but huge.
In comparison, how big are your arms?
My arms are right under 24.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was 6'3", 6'4", big guy.
Yeah.
But at first it was Cyclin, then it went to Nolotol, and then Synthol. So there has been other versions of it, but it was more of an underground thing that people didn't know about.
So what is it? Like, what kind of oil is it?
Basically like an MCT oil.
Okay.
I mean, different companies use different oils. The object is to have an oil that lasts longer in the system.
You can drink it?
You could, yeah.
Technically, and you'd be all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, the trick is to get an oil that lasts longer, so it takes the body longer, you know, to process it.
Right.
So you want it to last as long as you can.
Right.
The thing is, what people don't understand is in the beginning, the theory was that you put the oil in and it stretches the fascia tissue, therefore allows the bicep more room to grow. Mm-hmm. So it was marketed as a tool to help get your arms bigger. Mm-hmm. But the truth of it is has nothing to do with it. It's just a cosmetic, you know, shit, basically. It makes your arms look bigger, but they look awful.
Right.
So in the beginning, the whole theory was inject it in the arm, you know, get the arm 3 inches bigger, the fascia tissue stretches, then when the oil leaves, the muscle now has more room to grow at a faster rate. So, you know, in the 80s, a popular thing was bodybuilders would go get their fascia tissue actually cut.
What?
Slice, and then the bicep could pop through and grow at a faster rate.
What?
Yes.
That worked?
I don't know anyone that personally got it done, but I know people talked about it all the time.
Then you'd have a scar right there.
No, actually the fascia tissue is just a real thin
it's very thin.
layer over the muscle under the skin.
Oh.
So, I mean, I don't know what the scarring would be, but I don't even know if people really got it done or not, but I know people talked about it.
Right.
And so Synthol was the same theory. Stretch the fascia tissue, allow the muscle more to grow. But, you know, basically that was just an excuse to use it for people to put it in, make their arm bigger temporarily and say, this is why I'm doing it.
Right.
You know, and the reality was it was that quick, 3 inches bigger in your arms.
Right.
But, you know, as you know, you can see it from a mile away.
Right.
I mean, anyone using Synthol, you can spot it from a mile away.
So, is it cheap?
Is it what?
Is it cheap?
Yeah.
It's like cheaper than, how much does it cost?
Well, they sell it for like $100 for 100 cc's.
How long
on the internet? Depending on the person. I mean, it could last.
I guess it depends how much you're actually putting in and what kind of results you want.
Right. Those guys you see on the internet,
I
mean, they're putting more than 100 cc's in one bicep.
What?
Yeah. So
like each time?
Yeah. Yeah,
and how often are they doing
People have no idea the excruciating pain those guys are going through having that oil in their body and doing that to their body. They are in excruciating pain. To even go like this is they're torture.
Yeah, I guess once you start, you can't really
Oh,
stop.
it's painkillers, and there's a whole thing that goes along with it, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, you can't train, you can't function, you know, when you have, it's just, you think about it, you have gallons of oil in your body, and your muscles are just gonna die.
Right.
Because there's no blood circulation, there's no oxygen going to the muscle cells, so, you know, people don't realize that Synthol is the opposite. It will make your muscles smaller.
Wow.
You know, because you're suffocating.
Right.
And so I've told people, and I've had friends that have used it for, you know, over a year. They stopped using it, and their muscles have completely diminished.
Wow.
Gone, dead.
So if they're doing 100 cc's every time, how often are they injecting?
Probably, you know, once every 2 weeks, once a week, depending on the kind of oil and how fast it takes to metabolize.
Right.
Yeah. It's
So I guess once you I guess it seems like, you know, with the scene in Brazil, does it become like an addiction?
I believe it is.
Or
Yeah,
is there a competition?
No, it's just a quick way for a guy to, you know, walk through a bar and feel like he's the man.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
some of these guys are just look like, you know, like it's sad what these guys look like.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to be flickering images like across the screen right now because some of the guys just don't they like look in the mirror to actually see reality? I guess at that point they develop, you know, I went through an eating disorder. At that point I developed a body image disorder. So that is clearly what they developed there.
Right.
It is.
They started off with 10 cc's and then 20 cc's.
Right.
And not big enough. And they go to the gym, there's a guy bigger. And more cc's.
Right.
And, you know,
so that being said, how much did you do? What was your maximum that you did?
Well, the crazy thing is back when it came out, there was on the internet they told you how to use it, and everyone followed that protocol.
Right.
And that protocol, you know, was basically putting 1 cc in each muscle every single day.
Okay.
And that basically did nothing.
Okay.
I mean, your body will metabolize the oil, you know, that quick. So I remember I was literally injecting my arms every day. I did it for probably at least 30 days. And I'd put the tape measure on, and I was getting nowhere. But yet my arms were in pain, they were hurting, they were swollen. I'd flex my tricep, and you couldn't see my tricep because it was just inflamed.
Yeah.
And, you know, my workouts suffered, you know, trying to train back after putting something in my biceps, I couldn't go heavy.
Right.
And I finally came to the realization that this is just stupid.
Right.
You know, and it wasn't, the thing is the people that knew how to use it weren't letting it out. It was a secret. And the secret was you had to put like 10, 20 cc's at a time in.
Right.
You know, you can't even, you know, how do you put that much, you can't even imagine doing it.
Yeah.
Putting 20 cc's of oil in your bicep. You know, a 20 syringe, I mean, that's huge. You know, so no one ever thought
like a turkey
about it.
basting.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what these guys were doing, and that's how much oil it takes to give you that kind of oil.
Right. So you never went above that 1 cc?
No, I never went above the 1 cc. I just realized that it was just a waste of time, and I was in pain, and it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it to me. Like, my arms being a little bigger wasn't worth all that pain and suffering.
Yeah, that is insane. That is insane.
Now, using Synthol right before getting on stage of a bodybuilding contest is the only way I could say Synthol could be used in a good manner. Now, is it cheating? I don't know. That's up to that's up to each person to decide whether they're cheated or not, because, you know, bodybuilding is visual and it's judging on a visual, you know, what you see. Right. But it's not muscle. They didn't work for it.
Right.
But
I guess that could be same thing can be said about implants.
Right, in a beauty contest.
Right, yeah.
So,
or even bodybuilding nowadays, no? Like
steroids, you know.
I mean,
not
like
natural.
No, but isn't there like actual implants that you can do?
Yeah,
like,
there's all kinds of shit going on.
Yeah, it's a lot of crazy stuff.
But
yeah,
Synthol put in the body. It takes a while for the body to start to inflame and get swollen and water retention and so forth. So if the oil's put under the muscle, it can push the muscle up and make the muscle look exactly the same, but still have the definition and the muscularity it had prior to putting the oil under the muscle. Mm-hmm. But within 18 hours, you start to get that watery, inflamed, and then all of a sudden the muscle starts to look bad. So if a person injected Synthol the morning of the show, they could actually have a much fuller, more muscular, round, you know, appearance and look a lot bigger than they really are without affecting the muscularity. Right. But you have about 18 hours, depending on your metabolism and so forth. Right. But, you know, this is being used. Yeah. You know, and I've helped people that compete do this the morning of the show. You know, they ask for my help. Fuck it, it sounds like fun. Yeah. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
And you know, I've seen some pretty incredible results that way. But you know, people have to know that it's just
from a functionality standpoint of view, it's useless.
Useless, cosmetic bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, you need to just get in the gym and work out, and you know, as much time as you spend doing all that bullshit and all the pain and everything, you can build muscle.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So it's not going to help you build muscle or anything.
It's going to do the opposite.
It's going to do the opposite. So you heard it right here, my friends. Rich Piana, Synthol's bullshit. Don't use it.
Stay the fuck away
from Synthol, my friends. We'll catch you guys later. As always, my friends, you guys stay sexy, stay hungry, and of course, get laid.